Hello, everybody, and welcome to College and Career Corner, our weekly series podcast where we help give students and families information to help get students college and career ready. As you saw, we have our 4 E's: enroll, enlist, explore, and employ. And each of those E's is covered during one of our college and career corners. Again, helping you guys get ready for life after high school. We have a chat here that is open, so feel free to put any questions in the chat, and at the end of the presentation, we will answer them. And if there's any very, very important questions, we will answer them during the presentation. So today's guest, we have a wonderful, wonderful guest from a partner of ours that we work very closely with that from Broward College. That is Alexis Kitchman. She is here to share some information on dual enrollment and help get you students set up for that. So I'm going to stop sharing and let Alexis introduce herself and give all these great resources to you guys. So enjoy the presentation. Alexis, whenever you're ready.
Good evening, everyone. Again, thank you, Ms. Leons. My name is Alexis Kitchman. As she said, I am the Senior Director of Dual Enrollment here at Broward College. I've been at the college for about 17 years now, helping in dual enrollment for about 9, even before that too, but in this role for about 9 years. I'm excited to be here tonight, and I'm going to get started. So I am going to share my screen. Just give me one moment. First, you're going to see our dual enrollment website for just a moment, and then you will see the presentation. Okay, here we go. So of course, my name is Alexis again. Feel free to ask, as Ms. Leon said, you can put questions in the Q&A, and we may stop in between. She's going to stop me if needed during the presentation and answer any questions that maybe are being repeated. But there will be plenty of time for answering questions at the end. So before we even talk about dual enrollment, and you may even know some of this information from things that you've learned even from Broward County Public Schools, but if you're going to come to Broward College, you should know a little bit about it for the courses that you would take. We were founded in 1960. We are one of the oldest and largest institutions of higher education in Broward County. We are an accredited institution of higher education, which is very important because that means that your credits that you earn will transfer to other universities, public universities across the nation, and of course in the state of Florida. In fact, your school that you attend now, your high school, is accredited by the same accrediting body as us, SACS, COC, Southern Associations of Colleges and Schools. And of course, Broward College has been named one of the top 10 community colleges in the nation. I believe this is our 5th year in a row. If not, it's our 4th year, but I'm pretty sure it's the 5th. So we're really excited about that. We do, of course, have small class sizes. We are affordable, especially if you're doing dual enrollment, and we are accessible across the county, which I'll talk about later. So all the courses that you take at Broward College will go towards some kind of credential. We do, of course, have certificates, which are about 12 to 18 credits per or a certificate that you can then matriculate those certificates into associates in science degrees, associates in applied science degrees, and even associate in arts degrees. AS and AAS degrees are degrees that are designed to get you to transfer, or are degrees designed to get you a job, to put you in employment. Whereas an associate's in arts degree is designed to get you to transfer to a university. So the same first 60 credits that you would do at a university, you can do those at Broward College. And of course, we do have some bachelor programs, and I like to call those transfer degree bachelor programs because you do need your AA or an AS degree of some kind to participate in those programs. We have them in business, education, technology, nursing, environmental science, aerospace engineering. They're growing. And of course, this necessarily as a dual enrollment student doesn't necessarily apply to you because you will get your, when you take courses, your tuition, your books, everything will be paid for. But I like students and parents to know how much they're saving. So right now, our amount per credit, if you are paying in-state fees, is $117.90 per credit. If you were paying out-of-state fees, it's $373 per credit. So most classes at Broward College are about 3 credits. So if you're going full-time, which is 30 credits in a year, which if you're doing dual enrollment, of course, you wouldn't be taking 30 credits in a year, but this is just giving you an idea of how much it would be if you were a full-time student at Broward College. It would be approximately $3,480 for in-state tuition per year. Of course, that doesn't include instructional materials and any other expenses you might have. So this information here is not really, you don't have to worry about all this right now. You don't have to write it all down. But this is just designed to let you know that as a dual enrollment student, you can participate in taking honors courses. And so these are the different requirements that you would need. So if there's something that you want to know about this now, the most important thing would be for you to know the website, which is broward.edu/honors. And just know that most things that we do at Broward College, it's broward.edu/honors/testing. So if you can remember that for honors, then you'll be able to access this information. And of course, you can always contact me or someone on my team at another point if you still want more information about that. And so this is why we're here, dual enrollment. So dual enrollment is an accelerated program that allows secondary students to take post-secondary coursework and simultaneously earn both high school and college credits, hence why it's called dual enrollment. And of course, you are saving both time and money when you take dual enrollment courses. So this is here just to let you all know that everything that we do in dual enrollment is guided by our Florida state laws, our Florida state statutes, and our Florida state board rules. And of course, the guidelines that our accrediting body tells us that we have to follow. So when I'm about to talk about eligibility requirements, things like that, those are all things that are mandated by our Florida state statute. Florida state statute also mandates that students are not allowed to pay for courses. So that's why it is free to you, which is great. So yes, again, so Florida state statute mandates that students are exempt from the cost of tuition, fees, and the cost of instructional materials. And just like I mentioned, you can't pay for your courses even if you want to. Who can participate? So students who are in grades 6 through 12 can participate in dual enrollment. You must meet the eligibility requirements, which are for initial eligibility, you must have an unweighted high school GPA of 3.0 to participate in traditional dual enrollment. Again, mandated by our Florida state statute. So if you are in a middle school, you probably you may or may not have a high school GPA yet. So while it does say grades 6 through 12, you still have to meet the eligibility requirements. Additionally, you have to have college level test scores in English, reading, and math, which can be achieved through the ACT, SAT, or a common placement exam that we have at Broward College, which is either the PERT or the AccuPlacer. And the AccuPlacer exam is the exam that students are taking for dual enrollment currently because it can be offered remotely in a much easier environment than the PERT. And students are very successful, so that's really great. So if you haven't taken the ACT or SAT, you don't have to worry. You can take our placement exam here at the college to qualify. And of course, you have to have permission from a parent and your school counselor. And this is very important, what I'm about to say now, which is our continued eligibility. So here in the dual enrollment program, you do have to earn a grade of C or higher in all of your coursework. If you do not earn a grade of C or higher, if you earn a D or an F grade, you are removed from the program, and there's no way to be returned to the program while you are still in high school. So it's super important that you are ready to take on a college class, a college environment, be responsible, be ready to talk to your instructor when you have issues or thoughts or things that you have concerns about, and just like I said, be motivated. And of course, you do have to maintain your high school unweighted GPA of 3.0. So if that were to drop, you would need to be removed from the program. And of course, each semester you do have to complete a dual enrollment recommendation form, which I'll talk about later. You don't need to write this down. All of this is going to be on our website, which I'm going to share with you at the end. But this is just to give you an idea of what it looks like when we talk about the test scores and what the cutoff scores are. So yeah, these are the scores that you have to have in order to qualify. Of course, not every test. You can actually mix and match them. So if you have 8 SAT scores for English and reading, but maybe not your math score, you could actually take the AccuPlacer exam at Broward College in math only and use those scores to qualify. So a lot of times I get questions about dual enrollment and early admission. What's the difference? What are they? What does it mean? So in dual enrollment, you can actually do dual enrollment all years of your high school, and you would not be full-time. Your school counselor would tell you how many credits you're allowed to take, and you're not required to enroll in consecutive terms. And if you're in dual enrollment, you would be taking your high school courses and your dual enrollment courses at the same time. Whereas with early admission, you do have to be a senior in high school, and you must enroll in both the fall and the spring semesters, and you must enroll in a minimum of 12 credits, which means that you're full-time. So you would take your courses only at Broward College. You wouldn't take any at your high school. Yes, so an early admission is still part of the dual enrollment program. It's just a form of dual enrollment, and you can participate that in your senior year. Again, you can also just do dual enrollment your senior year. You don't have to do early admission. And this is just a couple of did you know. So your dual enrollment courses, they will transfer to any Florida public college or university in the state, and our state colleges. And just so you know, they will also transfer to other public institutions that have the same accreditation or a similar accreditation across the nation. We just know that guaranteed, obviously, it will be in Florida, but that doesn't mean your credits won't transfer to other public institutions. And also many private institutions will also accept your credits, just again, based on the fact that we have the accreditation that we do have. And very important, very, very, very important, is that the courses that you take in dual enrollment, they will count towards the beginning of your college transcripts. So you can't take a course and be like, well, I don't really like my grade, I want to take it off my record. It doesn't work like that. These courses are going to be on your college transcripts forever. They're attached to you. They will never go away. They will always be a part of your record. While you're in dual enrollment, you cannot repeat courses. So what that means is that, of course, if you get a D or an F, you would be removed from the program, and you can't really repeat that until after you graduate from high school. But if you do earn a W grade, which means that you've withdrawn from a course, you can remain in the dual enrollment with the W grade. You just can't repeat that course while you're in dual enrollment. The reason is because the W grade does count as an attempt on the course. There's when I say a fee not to the students, but Broward College and Broward County Public Schools is paying, and so we only give you one free attempt. And then again, per Florida state statute, you may not audit courses. So auditing is when you can go to class and sit in class and listen to the instructor, but you don't earn a grade. When you're in dual enrollment, you must be earning a grade. If you're not earning a grade at Broward College, then you would be earning a grade in a different class at your high school. A lot of students will ask us, well, what should I register for? So the first thing is that you do want to review with your counselor what courses you have left for high school graduation, because maybe you want to take some of your high school graduation requirements through dual enrollment. So it's important to have a conversation with your school counselor. And again, I was about to say this without even looking at what I had written down on the slide, but the most important thing is that you graduate from high school. So while a lot of students and parents want to take advantage of earning credits and, at no cost. It's super important. The most important thing is you graduate from high school, because if you don't do that, then taking those dual enrollment courses didn't mean anything. So it's super important that you're communicating with your school counselor. A lot of students, and most students, will take general education requirements that you have in college, because they do help with your high school graduation requirements, and of course help you towards any degrees or certificates that you may be doing in your future. And you might want to consider what you're majoring in and choosing your courses. You do want to choose courses that you're not already earning an AP credit for. So if you're enrolled in AP psychology at your school, you don't want to take psychology here at Broward College, because that's essentially the same credit. And again, Florida state statute does not says that you should not be earning the same credit twice. So just so you know, in the future, only one will count. So you don't want to do double the work for the same course and then one of them not count. You can take any courses on the dual enrollment approved course list once you're set up in dual enrollment, but you do want to meet you do have to meet any prerequisites for your courses and placement. Placement usually applies to math. So depending on where you place in math will depend on what course you can take. So where can you take your courses? You can actually take your courses at any BC location. So even when you apply to the college and you choose Central Campus, you can still take your course at any of our campuses. You can even take courses online or with BC Live Online, which is just another kind of fancy word for remote, like what you did during the pandemic. So we do have 4 main campuses and we have 8 centers. And of course, we have BC Online, which is fully online. And just to note, for those students that do choose fully online, it's not like FLVS. In FLVS, I believe it's a little bit more self-paced, whereas in here at Broward College, for fully online courses, you do have due dates that you do have to turn your assignments in on time, by the date on the syllabus. So it's important that you're looking at that when you are, deciding what kind of courses you want to take. If you know you learn better in person, go to class. If you feel like you want to use online because maybe it's easier for transportation, you can do that too. So again, a lot of students ask these questions. And by the way, this is a lot of information for you to absorb this evening and in a small amount of time. So just know that we do have a similar live presentation that will be on our website. I'll show you. So if you ever want to go back and re-review anything from this presentation, you can. So BC has 2 main semesters, fall and spring. They are divided into 4 sessions. Session 1 is 16 weeks, which is the full semester. And then we have 2 8-week sessions, session 2 and session 4. And then we have 1 12-week session. So what that means is that if you take an 8-week session, it's still 16 weeks of work, but condensed into 8 weeks. So you have to also think about that when you're choosing your courses. If you feel like math is not your favorite subject, but you want to take in dual enrollment, you don't want to do that in 8 weeks. Your probably best bet is to take that in 16 weeks. So you have more time over the course of the semester. And then the summer term, we have a 12-week session, which is the full semester or the full term. And then we have 2 6-week sessions. So the first 6-week session actually starts mid-May and goes through the middle of June. And then session 3 starts about the 3rd week of June and goes all the way to the 1st week of August. So 2 6-week sessions in the summer. And this is good to note because our next enrollment period will be summer and then fall. So drop and withdrawal, what does that mean? That means that when you enroll in a course here at Broward College, within the first week, if you go to class the first week and you're like, I don't know if this class is really right for me, you can drop the class by the drop date, which is about a week into the session, and remove it from your record as if you were never in it. Then you also have a withdrawal date once you are in a course, which is up until about the 60% mark, so just over halfway through of a session, where maybe you became ill and you needed to withdraw from the course. Maybe you didn't do as well as you thought you were going to do and you don't want to have a D or an F grade, so you can still withdraw from the course. But after the withdrawal date, you must earn a grade in the course. So There's a link here to our academic calendar. You can always search on our website for academic calendar and it will come up. So again, I pause. I don't know is there any questions that we want to answer or keep going?
There are, and so maybe we can consider this a halfway point. So I'm going to just ask the questions.
Okay.
The first is, if you take a class that is not listed in the approved course list for high school students to take, will it still show up in your high school transcript?
Well, you won't be able to the system won't allow you to register for any courses not on the DE approved course list. So you are limited. When I say limited, there are over 300 courses on the course list and all of gen ed is on there. So you're not really limited. You have plenty to choose from. But yes.
If you are removed, one course in dual enrollment, can you still enroll in another course? For example, if you fail science, can you still take an English?
The answer is if you fail any course, you are removed from the program and you can't keep taking courses for the rest of your high school career.
Dual enrollment, go ahead.
No, I say that's why it's super important that you make sure that you're ready to take on this endeavor.
Do dual enrollment credits transfer to private universities?
So I kind of mentioned that. Most private universities are going to accept your credits, especially because Broward College has a, like I said, accreditation that transfers to other universities. You do always want to check with the private institution because probably in their admissions policies, it has information about the credits that they will accept. Maybe they want you to take their English. So if you took English at Broward College, they may count it as an elective. But I can tell you in my 17 years at Broward College, I've only heard of one time where a student took a whole bunch of credits and she was at a dual enrollment credit, or no, just college credits. No, it was dual enrollment credits. She had gone to a private university. It was out of state somewhere and they didn't accept her credits. But that was the only time I've ever heard that. That's why I said most likely, depending on the institution you go to, most likely they're going to accept your credits.
And finally, if I take 2 full years of dual enrollment, do I start college as a junior?
Good question. So okay. So the way that it's set up between the limitations that the school district will give you on how many courses you can take per semester, if you were to do early admission your senior year, which you would be able to do between 24 and 30 credits actually, because the maximum you can take per semester is 15 for fall and spring as an early admission student. So that would be 30 credits. If you were to accumulate some additional credits in dual enrollment prior to that, plus any AP or ACE credits that you may take while in high school, a lot of students, not a lot, we had about 100 students last semester that, or last year, I should say, that completed their associates in arts degree. And they were able to then move on to the university. And yes, they started, you enter the university with the freshman admission requirements usually, but they do count your status. You're going to start taking your major classes unless there's any additional gen ed classes that you need to take for your major before you start it. So yes, you can almost start as a, you could almost earn 60 credits in your AA, depending on the path that you end up taking in the courses you take.
Perfect, thanks. We have a few more questions, but let's save them to the end.
Okay, sounds good. So you guys all had great questions, thank you. And again, so that was kind of like all the things you need to know in dual enrollment, right? And now we get to the point is, okay, you've decided you want to do dual enrollment. What do you need to do? So you don't need to write all this down. I promise you, this is just a quick overview. All of this information is on our website, which I'm going to show you at the very end. So like I said, don't worry that you missed something or you didn't read something or you missed it, because it will be on the website. So again, I always say this, the first thing you need to do is confirm that you meet the eligibility requirements with your school counselor. Once you've done that, you would apply to Broward College online. You would get your user ID, your password, and your email. Then you would be logging into your Broward College account. You want to set up your account. And then you would be completing your dual enrollment recommendation form, by the deadline date. This is super important. In dual enrollment, we have deadlines. Don't meet the deadlines, you'll have to wait till the following semester. So it's super important that you're looking at our website, that you're communicating with your school, that you're listening to announcements. But if you use our website, you won't miss any deadlines, I promise. And then, but the question remains is, now you've applied to the college, you need to meet eligibility requirements, right? Part of that is, do you need to take the common placement exam? So once you've applied to the college, you'll be able to, from our, again, everything's on our website, you'll be able to fill out a remote testing request form to take the exam for placement. You can actually, you'll be taking it remotely. You can take it from your home, you can take it from your school. But once you fill out that request, you get an email to your personal email with your voucher information. Then you schedule your exam, you take your exam, and then you're going to give your scores to your school counselor. You get your scores at the end of the exam, and then they'll review with you if you qualify or not. Or you can look on our website and look at your scores. You'll know if you qualify. But again, I'll show you. And then again, excuse me, how to get started. So continued. So once you've applied to the college, you know you have the GPA, you know you have the test scores, then you're going to complete our dual enrollment recommendation form on our website. The form is only there when the registration period for the future semesters is open. And I say that because our spring semester just closed. Our deadline was actually an extended deadline because the hurricane was October 11th. Normally it's about a week before that. So right now, when I show you the website, you won't see any links to submit a form, but I'll go over that. You're going to look at our web. I'm just going to show you the website so you can see all that. So you don't even need this part, but notice one thing I do want to point out is that within our dual enrollment recommendation form, when you click on it, it's going to have a link in there for you to click on a PDF of a parent consent form. You need to print that out. If you don't have access to a printer, your counselor can help you print that out at school. You would have your parents sign it, fill it out, and then you take a picture of it with your phone or scan it, and you upload it into your dual enrollment form. And you do need to do a new parent form each semester. And I say that because right now we're processing our forms, and we have students who wanted to use their form from last summer as their parent form for this semester. So we're having to ask them to fill out a new form. Once you submit your form, it's then routed to your school for approval. Then it comes to Broward College. We process it and we get everything done before registration starts. So again, you don't even need to know this. This is just giving you an idea. What will it look like? When you log into your account and you've clicked on the link to the dual enrollment form, you're going to see a page that looks like this. And notice it's pretty self-explanatory. You just click on that little gray box that says complete this form, and you fill out the form just like any other application you would complete. Once you complete your form, you're going to get a confirmation at the end that tells you that your form has been submitted and that it's going to be routed to your school counselor for review and approval. Just know that the counselors have about a week after you do to review all the forms and submit them, and Broward College will then be processing them for about 2 or 3 weeks before registration starts. So remember, I talked about deadlines. So in the spring semester, I'm jumping to the green word, the spring deadline. So we had the deadline the first week of October. It was extended because of the hurricane, and registration coming up for spring will begin next Wednesday, October 26th. But notice the next registration period will be for summer. So if you're already thinking about enrolling for this coming summer or the following fall next year, you can already submit an application now if you want. You can already start taking the placement exam, which is an excellent idea, because if you go ahead and take the placement exam, if for some reason you didn't get a score in one section or you need to retest or whatever it may be, you then have time to retest. If you wait till the last minute to try to do your tests and then the deadline comes and you don't meet the scores, you have to wait till the following semester. So you even have now to go ahead and apply to the college and do your testing but the form for summer probably won't be open until around in December sometime. I'm hoping to open it earlier and earlier, but your school will know, and they will let you know. So the deadline for summer is usually mid-February, which I know you're like, wow, I can't believe I have to decide in February when I'm doing in June. But yes, the deadline is mid-February, and the reason is because registration begins the second week of March. So we want all the forms to be ready to go before you register. And then at fall, our deadline is always the end of April. So again, if you're thinking about it, you can already even apply to the college maybe in January, go ahead and do your placement exam. Your form will probably be already open for fall to be able to submit it, and you'll be way ahead of the game, so that you're ready, because registration usually begins the end of May. Sometimes it's in June, but it's usually the beginning of May. And the next slide here is really just for you to see, get an idea of what I was mentioning, is that our spring deadline was October 5th, and I just wrote that it's passed because I don't want anyone to think that spring is still open, because it's not. And then as you can see here, as I mentioned, that registration for spring begins October 26th and classes begin January 9th. And really this slide is for you as well. Once I've done all those things and registration opens, well, what do I do? You would then log into your Broward College account, and you would be able to register for your courses online on your own. If you are taking a course at your high school site, BC would register you in that course. If you're taking a course at Broward College in person or through BC Online, you would register yourself in that course. Don't wait for us. Don't wait for your counselor, because they won't register you, and neither will we. You have to do it yourself. And there are directions on how to register on our website. Our dual enrollment website is really your guide, your key, your Bible to the whole process. And we put this in there because we want to make sure that students are aware. Accessibility resources. So if you are receiving any kind of accommodations in your high school, and you would like to see if you can get those same accommodations here at Broward College, you would have to register with our accessibility resources office. They will not automatically transfer over to Broward College. And I say this because we've had students in the past who maybe didn't do well in a course, and then they came to us and they said, well, I have accommodations, but you didn't tell us so, and you didn't register with our office, so there's not much we can do at this point. So it's super important that you do this ahead of time. You must let Broward College know. It's not automatic. Your information is private. I don't even know by looking at any of your accounts who has services or doesn't, because that's not like in our system on record. It stays with the Accessibility Resources Office, and they work with you and your instructors. And then parking and textbooks. So we do have, if you do have to come on campus, we do have an open campus, so you can park anywhere that it's not a faculty spot. So you can literally park anywhere, and you don't need a decal. As far as textbooks, you can order your textbooks online for pickup, or I highly recommend that you just go in person, because you can, like I said, you can order it online, but you still have to go pick it up, or you can just go in person and pick it up anyway. It used to be that we could have them delivered to your house during the pandemic. That's no longer an option. So either way, you are going to have to go in person to pick up your books or your access codes. A lot of courses that you take have like a computer access code. You still have to go in person and get those. When you get there, you just let them know that you're dual enrollment, and they'll charge your school. It doesn't matter what type of student you are, private, public. I mean, all of you are public or charter or any of the above. Your course materials are paid for. So books, access codes, I was just mentioning it without even realizing I put it on the slide. Lab coats, goggles, some art supplies. So if you're taking a science class, you don't have to pay for your lab coat or your goggles. So this is kind of a newer thing in dual enrollment. Again, the information is on our website. It's called Workforce Dual Enrollment. It's new, but not new. But it's new in the sense that we've opened it up to access to other students across the whole district. It's actually open to students across the district now. You can actually enroll in aviation management courses, or aviation maintenance program, I'm sorry. You do have to be a 12th grader, okay, but any high school can do it. The courses are located towards the north, in the North Campus. A few days a week will be in person and a few days a week will be remote. But it is like a full-time commitment. It's like 5 days a week from like 6 to almost 9 p.m. So it's super important that if you decided that you wanted to do this, that you're committed. The good news is you only have to have an unweighted high school GPA of 2.5 or higher. There is a separate dual enrollment form for this particular program, but if you have any questions, talk to your counselor. You can also do this with a supply chain management program. That one is fully online. Again, 12th grader, 2.5 GPA, but it's fully online. And for both of these programs, you would be earning credits toward technical certificates. You wouldn't be able to complete the full certificate, but you could get the majority of it done and then finish up at Broward College maybe the following summer or the following fall. Again, this is a newer type opportunity, so but it's on our website, so you can read more about it, and you can also talk to your school counselor. Again, a lot of information, I know. So if I was going to tell you to write something down tonight, this would be what I would tell you to write down, which is if you need to contact our dual enrollment office because you have questions, you could email dual@broward.edu. It's maintained by myself, my coordinator, Odalis Garcia, and our dual enrollment student success coach, Anthony Steven. So one of us are always available to answer your questions. You can even type an email to us and say, can you please call us? And we will call me and we will call you. So dual@broward.edu. Super important. I highly recommend that you write that down tonight or take a picture. dual@broward.edu. And then our last slide here, again, our website, broward.edu/dual. Again, remember I kind of said that's how Broward College does it, broward.edu/dual/testing/honors. So this is our website. We all are also on Facebook and Instagram. I guess I really need to get on other social media accounts too, right? But I try to leave that to our marketing department. So I just wanted to show you one more thing. This is our website, broward.edu/dual. So everything that I talked about tonight, and sorry, I don't know if you guys can see my face in the camera, but I'm going to turn my head just so I can look at my other screen to talk to you. But here on the very top of our website, a similar presentation that I'm giving to you tonight, we did one September 1st. And this is actually a Zoom session that you can rewatch if you need to go back and review anything we talked about tonight. You can go back and re-review it here. And then when you scroll down on our website, these tiles here these are the tiles that you need to know what what you need to do. So you can see here, if you were to click on eligibility requirements, you can see the information about testing. Just an FYI, our testing the testing requirements for the AccuPlacer Next Gen are actually increasing next week. Right now you need a 245 in English and reading. It's actually increasing to 261 in English and reading next week on October 25th. That's mandated by the state of Florida, not by Broward College. And then you can also see the other continued eligibility requirements that we talked about earlier. And if you go back, everything that I talked about on how you start, you can click on the new students tile and you come here to how to get started, and everything I just talked about is here. Meet with your counselor, how to do your test, apply to the college, set up your Broward College account, your dual enrollment recommendation form. Normally there's a link here to whatever enrollment period we're in. Right now we just finished spring, so we removed the link. And you can say the deadline for spring has passed, but there'll be a link right there telling you, for you to click on for the next enrollment period. You can view our deadline dates from this website as well. And then it just tells you once you've done your part, is routed to your school counselor. And then step 5, it tells you that once registration opens, you can log into your BC One Access account and you can click here to see steps to register. When you're done registering, you need to give a copy of your schedule to your school, and then you would get your books, just like I mentioned. And step 8, again, if you need to utilize accessibility resources, it's there. I'm just going to click back just to show you a few more things. Here's our dual enrollment approved course list. I'll click on it so you can see. There are a ton. I think this document is about 8 to 11 pages. It's 10 pages long, excuse me. So you can see there are a ton of courses to choose from. Everything in this column, high school graduation requirement, tells you what high school graduation requirement you would meet based on the course that you take, okay? And then if you want to make an appointment to see it, to talk to an advisor after you've already started in dual enrollment, you can click here and it gives you directions on how to make an appointment with our advisor. These are our deadline dates. Notice that it talks here about what the deadline date was for spring. We don't have our deadline date yet for fall, or I'm sorry, for summer and for fall because we were finishing up spring. Again, you can click on testing and that will link you to how to do the placement exam, how to sign up for it, even how to access your test scores once you end the exam if you forgot to print them out or take a picture of them or whatever. You know, has contact information for the testing center. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention was our workforce dual enrollment. So if you were interested in anything I said about workforce dual enrollment with that 2.5 GPA or higher, and you're going to be a senior, you can click here and it will give you all the information you need to know to enroll. And the link to that form is here. And then we have, of course, our contact information by campus. But again, dual@broward.edu is your best way to reach the dual enrollment team. I think that's it. I'm assuming there's going to be more questions. I'm going to stop sharing, or Ms. Leons, should I stop sharing?
I think keep the website up just so they can
Okay.
see it. And
Okay,
yes, we have quite a few questions. The first one I want to ask, I know that the counselors, I get this question a lot. Students that are doing dual enrollment tend to get confused. They're like, well, am I a college student now? Am I a high school student? You know, what happens my senior year? Do I
yes.
get my high school diploma? Do I get a college degree? Do I go to prom? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So even when you are enrolled in dual enrollment courses, you are still a high school student through and through. You are attached to your high school. Your high school is determining if you can graduate from high school, that you've met all your requirements. Yes, you can go to prom. If you are an early admission student, you can still, like, I know right now there's early admission students who are still doing all their courses at Broward College as seniors, but they are still participating in sports. They're still doing prom, homecoming, clubs, the whole 9 yards. So yes, you are still a high school student. You are earning credits towards a degree, but again, there are some students who complete their AA degree while enrolled in the dual enrollment program. So you could maybe simultaneously earn your high school diploma and your AA degree at the same time. Again, that's pretty, it's a difficult endeavor, honestly, because you do have to time it like perfectly with how many AP and ACE credits you take and what dual enrollment credits you take and you know, what courses you take if you decide to do early admission. But yes, you are still a high school student always until you graduate. Yes. Does that help?
Great, great. Yes, I had mentioned that in the chat, so I'm happy you're able to clarify. Another question we had, and you just showed this, but maybe talk a little bit more. Would the general education courses, or I think the question's backwards, but would the courses they take at BC for dual enrollment be similar and replace the courses that they would need for high school? So like English versus English.
Yes. So of course, if you're taking AP English, okay, if you're taking honors English, that's not going to, like, none of that's going to transfer to Broward College. I'm just thinking about, like, if you take AP English, right? You kind of have a choice. Like, if you take AP English and you go through your course, you take an exam at the end, you earn credits. Or if you don't take an AP English, or maybe you don't take your honors English, you can take an English course at Broward College, and that will give you one full high school English credit. So sometimes students will take ENC 1101, get their junior high school credit, take ENC 1102, and get their senior high school credit, or get, you know, earn 2 full high school credits. I know I had it up here, which is the dual enrollment approved course list. Not every course gives you a full high school English credit. Most of the English classes except one will give you a full high school English credit. If you take a language, you get a full high school credit. If you take a math course, you get a full high school credit, meaning one full high school credit. But notice the rest of them, the majority of them, you're getting 0.5 credits. You're getting a half a high school credit. If you take a science course, you have to take the science course with the lab to get the one full high school credit. If you only take the course but not the lab, then you only get a half a high school credit. But the majority of the other courses, which I have up here, I know I'm going kind of fast. I don't want you to make you dizzy, but notice a lot of the electives are all half a high school credit. So hopefully that answers the question.
Great. And while on that topic, I know that when talking to college students, we say, hey, and even high school students, take these electives. They'll help you figure out what you like. You
Yes.
know, maybe this is your path, maybe it's not. Take electives, see what you like to do. So we have someone sort of asking about, they already think that they want to take business. But then if you look at the courses that are offered, they're wanting to know if you should take specific classes, like does that then count towards their major, or
Yes.
how do they select which courses they're going to take?
So again, when you first start taking classes in your first semester, you're probably going to take more like general classes to get you started, maybe English, math, humanities, social sciences, like history or psychology, or maybe intro to computer, something like that. But then you'll be able to meet with an advisor, like I said, our dual enrollment advisor. If you know, like, hey, I know I'm going to do business in, when I graduate high school, when I go off to the college, whether it be at Broward College or the university, you want to take business courses. There are certain majors, obviously, that require you to take certain prerequisites. So business, as an example, there are certain courses that are prerequisites for the actual business major. All majors, though, have gen ed requirements. So that's why we kind of say if you take some gen ed courses, you're going to definitely use those towards anything you do in college, and maybe even help you in high school. For business, off the top of my head, I already know what they are. You have to take accounting. You have three accounting courses. You have to take 2 economics courses, computer, business calculus, and statistics. So those are the prerequisites for the actual business major when you go off to university. But also, you still have to do your gen ed courses. You need 60 credits. 24 credits of electives and 36 credits of general education, but again, all explained by an advisor. I know I'm talking kind of fast because I want to make sure that I answer any other questions that may come.
Great. And still a little bit on that. The
That's
student
fine.
is saying they're only doing dual enrollment for 1 year, but they know they want to get their associates. What does that look like when they finish high school, they did their dual enrollment year, and then they go to Broward College seeking an associate's degree?
Okay, so yes, we would take all the courses that you already have, and we would you would be advised to say, okay, this is what you have left to take. So we would then go over, what gen ed you may have remaining, or any electives that you need to. Your electives include your prerequisite courses. So we will go over anything you need for your major and make sure that you have an academic plan to finish up whatever you need for your associates in arts degree, or even an AS degree, whatever you decide.
I'm scrolling trying to find the question, but I know I saw a question on Bright Futures. Does dual enrollment affect Bright Futures?
I don't know what you mean by that, but I do know that, and that might be better answered by your school counselor. Like, I know I have a son who's a senior this year, and he's been doing dual enrollment courses and doing some AP courses and his other courses. And I don't think it's affected his Bright Futures, because I think even if you take courses, I know with Bright Futures, right, you have to do certain requirements. So I'm thinking that some of your dual enrollment credits, if they give you your high school requirement, will also give you requirements that you need for your Bright Futures. So it shouldn't affect your Bright Futures. You should, as long as you're meeting all the requirements that you normally would as a high school student, you should be fine.
Yes, I was going to say the same.
Okay, good.
Let's see.
That was just an assumption and after my experience in these, many years.
Yeah, it's all about meeting the requirements, and
Exactly.
yeah, the standards for dual enrollment are pretty high, so
yes,
that's definitely good. Let's see. Can you talk again quickly about how they find their courses? The specific question is, how do you know what classes are offered at the high school versus in person at BC?
Good question. You would have to ask your high school counselor, because every high school it's not like you can go on the website and be like, what courses does Flanagan have, or what courses does, Cooper City have. Every high school kind of offers different, courses and a different amount of courses. There are some high schools who don't really offer any courses at their high school site. It all kind of depends on the high school that you go to. So that would be a question for your high school. But either way, you can take dual enrollment courses, whether it be at the high school or at Broward College, if your high school has courses there. They don't always have it. And sometimes they only offer like maybe 1 or 2 courses, and those may not be courses that you want to take. So you would end up taking your courses at Broward College anyway.
Perfect. Those were our big questions, and we're kind of now running out of time. So I hope that we did cover everything. Alexis, thank you so much for providing this information. Would you be able to put that screen up that had the email for, any additional questions and resources back up? Yes. And while Alexis is doing that, there we go. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us. You can direct your questions up to the dual enrollment office there, dual@broward.edu. Also, don't forget to reach out to your BRACE advisor. And we have more and more resources. We include resources for dual enrollment on our website at browardschools.com/brace. And we hope to see you guys next week for College and Career Corner. That is October 26th, where we will be featuring B2L career spotlights, focusing on cybersecurity and online careers like YouTube careers. So again, all of this matches up to each other. We want you guys to enroll in college, enlist, explore, or employ. And thank you again, Alexis and Broward College, for joining us tonight. Everybody have a great evening.
Happy to be here, happy to help. Good luck with everything.